back in royal history, you can always tell the one that really enjoyed the world of celebrity, show business. You know, they were the ones that were definitely up there, ready to meet those big mega stars of the day. And when you think about it, the late Queen Mother, as I've said to you before here on the show, truly loved the world of show business, particularly comedians. You know, she loved people who could make her laugh, and we knew exactly the programs that she liked, or indeed the comedians from that golden age of radio era. But of course, there was one senior royal that truly did embrace the world of show business. And more importantly, not just that, but really did put a shine on the people that she met. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you today. As ever, thank you for joining me. Nice to have your company on this sort of, yes, well, slightly wintry day. By the way, somebody wrote the other day, we'll have a wave. Are you all right? Yes, I'm sorry. I know I'm slipping. Somebody wrote the other day and said, Neil, look like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. Well, actually, yes, my bag was quite heavy. But on a more serious note, it's just winter, isn't it? Do you find that? You know, the shorter days and that, you know, you get up in the dark, you come home in the dark, and it'd been a particularly rainy day. So thank you for noticing. I'm fine, honestly. You know, I do laugh at most things, but there are days when you think, oh, goodness, you know, and you just long for spring, don't you? I know Australia, you can smirk, but it's coming to an end. I'm only pulling your leg. Back as ever, though, to your royal story of the day. Way back in October 1960, the man known as the Duke entered town. Yes, not a royal Duke, though, but the Duke, you know. None other than the brilliant John Wayne. He was in London to help promote his latest movie, The Alamo. And this was a big thing for him, let me tell you, because not only had he funded it himself for a colossal amount in those days, 4 million, he spoke in interviews at the time about how difficult it was to raise such money, because obviously as an independent, which it was, you know, a lot rides on it. That's the reason why he was going around the world selling the movie. Now, did you know that in order to make sure they got some publicity, I think this is fabulous, in fact, they had the very first mobile, get this, mobile box office in London, so that you could book your ticket. This is very similar to today. Remember, this is 1960. As long as you had the money, you could book your ticket at this mobile box office that was radioed through to the cinema, and then you picked up your ticket then. Imagine how daunting that must have been, though, giving your money over and wondering if your ticket would be there when you rocked up. It's a bit like today, isn't it, though? There's just no money now. But you see, the Alamo was a big success. It premiered at the Astoria Theatre, which is now all, yes, no longer there. It's literally rubble, and now on its place is the new entrance to Tottenham Court Road tube station. But way back in 1960, Princess Margaret, alongside John Wayne and the stars of the Alamo, were all there. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because John Wayne, as I said, was kind of desperate to make sure that this movie took off. And he was thrilled when he was told that a member of royalty would be attending the premiere. He had hoped for, of course, His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen, but was very happy to find the equally beautiful Princess Margaret in attendance. So much so that he gave her a very special commissioned horse saddle, side saddle, whatever you call it, from the movie, specifically to her own requirements. She had no idea it was going to be gifted either. And according to a well-placed source, used it for many years and told the story behind it of how John Wayne literally presented it to her at that premiere. What's interesting was her presence did help the movie, particularly in America, because at that point, you know, the newsreels lapped up any meetings of huge American stars and British royalty, and that was the power of Princess Margaret then, some say, at the height of her own beauty. John Wayne couldn't get over meeting Princess Margaret, and said, you know, that if she ever fancied a part in one of his films, given the fact that she was an accomplished horsewoman, he would be more than happy. This got picked up as a story around the world. This was relayed to me by none other than Tony Curtis, and then, of course, was able to look into it for you. Just proving, of course, there's a couple of things in that particular royal story that Princess Margaret definitely game. We all know that. John Wayne, very clever at marketing with the very first mobile box office, getting your ticket at the cinema, and equally very shrewd, presented, of course, a royal with her own horse saddle. Now, if that didn't make the movie a success, what would? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.